Try tickling the bottom of your foot right now. Seriously, give it a shot. Reach down and scratch away. Nothing happened, right? Absolutely nothing. But if someone else walks into the room and does the exact same thing, you will jump out of your skin. Why does your own hand feel like an ordinary touch, while another person's hand feels like an electric shock of pure chaos? It turns out your body is hiding a brilliant, hyper-fast security system right inside your head. It is a system that constantly filters reality before you even get a chance to experience it. If it didn't do this, you wouldn't even be able to walk down the street without losing your mind. So, what is this invisible barrier that shields you from your own fingers, and why is it impossible to break? Think about how chaotic the world would feel if every single movement you made felt brand new. Every time your foot hit the ground while walking, it would feel like the earth was jumping up to smack you. Every time your arm brushed against your shirt, you would swear someone was grabbing you from behind. The human brain has to process millions of sensory signals every single second, and most of them are completely useless. To survive, you need a filter that separates your actions from the actions of the outside world.
Imagine walking into a massive, crowded stadium where everyone is screaming at the top of their lungs. If you try to listen to every single voice, you will just hear an overwhelming wall of noise. But your brain acts like a highly trained audio engineer sitting in a soundproof control room. It instinctively turns down the volume knobs on the background noise so you can focus on the person standing right in front of you. When it comes to touch, your brain is doing the exact same thing to your own movements. This brings us back to the mystery of the tickle. Tickling relies entirely on two main ingredients: unpredictability and a lack of control. When someone else approaches you with wiggling fingers, your nervous system goes into a mini state of panic. You don't know exactly where they will touch, how hard they will press, or when they will stop. But when you try to do it to yourself, the magic disappears instantly. The secret behind this mystery lies in a tiny, quiet part of your brain located right at the back of your skull. Let's look closely at the quarterback of this entire operation, a structure called the cerebellum. This small, heavily wrinkled region of the brain is responsible for monitoring all of your motor control and physical movement. Every time you decide to lift a finger, reach for a glass of water, or take a step forward, the cerebellum gets a secret copy of the memo. It doesn't just watch what you do. It predicts exactly what the physical consequences of that movement will feel like before it even happens.
Neuroscientists call this internal copy an efference copy. Think of it as a blueprint or a detailed preview of an upcoming event sent straight to your sensory systems. When your hand starts moving toward your ribs to tickle yourself, the motor cortex sends a command to your arm muscles. Simultaneously, a perfect replica of that command shoots straight into the cerebellum. The cerebellum instantly calculates the exact trajectory, the timing, and the expected pressure of your fingers against your skin. Because the brain already knows exactly what is coming, it decides to save energy and protect your sanity. It uses that predictive blueprint to actively subtract the sensation from your conscious awareness. In the world of neuroscience, this phenomenon is known as sensory attenuation. It is the reason why you don't hear the loud crunching of your own jaw when you chew food as loudly as other people hear it. Your brain simply cancels out the self-generated noise so you can listen for actual dangers in your environment. Imagine you are playing a high-stakes video game against a clone of yourself. If you know every single move your opponent is going to make before they even press a button, winning becomes effortless. You would block every attack, dodge every projectile, and counter every single strike perfectly. That is exactly what your sensory cortex does to your own hand. It predicts the attack, blocks the surprise, and turns the volume of the touch down to a gentle, boring murmur. But what happens when another person tries to tickle you? This is where the security system completely breaks down. When an outside force moves toward your body, your motor cortex doesn't send out any internal blueprints because your muscles aren't the ones moving. Your cerebellum has absolutely no way to predict the exact timing, velocity, or angle of those incoming fingers. There is no efference copy generated, which means there is no blueprint to cancel out the sensory signals. As a result, the sensory receptors in your skin fire off massive, unfiltered warning messages straight up your spinal cord. These signals arrive at your primary somatosensory cortex at full volume, catching your brain completely off guard. Because the touch is a total surprise, your brain treats it as a potential threat or an unpredictable event that requires immediate attention. The intense, overwhelming sensation that follows is what we experience as that breathless, uncontrollable laughter. To understand why we react this way, we have to look at the two distinct types of tickling. The first type is called nismesis, which is that annoying, itchy feeling caused by a light feather or an insect crawling across your skin. This type of tickle doesn't make you laugh. Instead, it triggers an instant urge to scratch or swat the area. Evolution built this reaction into our ancestors to protect us from dangerous biting parasites and venomous bugs creeping up our limbs in the dark. The second type of tickle is called gargalesis, and this is the heavy, deep tissue tickling that targets vulnerable zones like your ribs, underarms, and neck. Gargalesis is the specific type of tickle that forces out loud laughter and frantic wriggling. Interestingly, these highly sensitive areas happen to protect some of the most critical blood vessels and vital organs in your body. For decades, evolutionary biologists have wondered why a physical threat to these zones makes us laugh instead of fight. One leading theory suggests that gargalesis is actually an ancient built-in mechanism designed to teach us how to defend ourselves. Think about how mammals play fight when they are young. Parents and siblings tickle toddlers and children in the exact places that would be targeted during a real dangerous attack. The laughter acts as a social signal that keeps the interaction friendly, ensuring the play fight doesn't accidentally turn into a bloody battle. At the same time, the frantic wriggling forces the child to practice escaping from a tight grip and protecting their most vulnerable spots. It is essentially a combat training simulator disguised as a joyful family game. But this training program only works if the element of surprise is perfectly maintained. If you could simulate this training by yourself, your brain wouldn't learn anything new about dodging unpredictable threats, which is why the self-tickle remains locked away. This brings us to a mind-blowing realization about how you perceive everything around you. You don't actually experience the physical world as it is happening in real time. Instead, you live inside a continuous, highly managed simulation generated by your brain's predictions. Your brain modifies, dampens, and enhances your senses based on who is causing the action. When you touch an object, your brain subtracts your own movement to highlight what the object feels like, rather than what your hand feels like. If you want definitive proof of this master system, look at how you experience a simple pat on the shoulder. If you tap your own shoulder right now, it feels completely ordinary and barely registers in your mind. But if a stranger steps up behind you in a dark hallway and taps that exact same spot, your heart rate spikes instantly. The physical touch is identical, but the context, prediction, and lack of control change your entire biological reality. Scientists have actually attempted to bypass this predictive security system using advanced technology and robotics. In famous laboratory experiments, researchers built a specialized mechanical lever that participants could pull to tickle themselves. When the robot hand moved in perfect sync with the participant's hand, the tickle sensation remained completely muted. The cerebellum successfully predicted the movement through the lever and canceled out the feedback, just like normal. However, the scientists discovered a fascinating loophole in the system by introducing a tiny trick. They programmed the robot arm to introduce a brief time delay of just a fraction of a second between the lever pull and the actual touch. They also slightly altered the direction of the robot's movement, so it didn't perfectly match the human hand. Suddenly, the participants started laughing and reporting that they felt a genuine tickle sensation from their own action. By adding that tiny delay, the scientists successfully outsmarted the cerebellum's rapid prediction engine. The efference copy sent by the brain expected an immediate, specific touch in one exact location. Because the sensory feedback arrived late and from a slightly wrong angle, the brain flagged it as an unpredictable external event. This proves that you can actually tickle yourself, but only if you can manage to run faster than your own brain's processing speed. This predictive system isn't just about tickling. It touches upon the very core of human consciousness and self-awareness. It is the fundamental mechanism that allows you to distinguish between me and not me. It tells your mind where your body ends and where the rest of the universe begins. Without this sharp boundary, your sense of agency, the feeling that you are the master controlling your own actions, would completely fall apart. Interestingly, this exact system provides deep insights into complex psychological conditions. Psychiatrists have found that certain individuals with schizophrenia can actually tickle themselves without any time delay. In these cases, the brain's ability to link the motor command with the sensory consequence is slightly altered. Their minds don't register the movement as self-generated, making your own hands feel like the hands of a complete stranger.
The next time you fail to tickle yourself, don't look at it as a strange physical limitation. View it as a stunning demonstration of your brain's incredible computational power working perfectly behind the scenes. Your mind is constantly protecting you from the noise of your own body, so you can focus on the mysteries of the world. Are there any other weird quirks of human perception that keep you up at night? Leave a comment down below if you tried to tickle yourself while watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend to see if they can beat their own cerebellum. We will see you in the next deep dive into the human machine. Keep questioning everything and keep exploring.